Hey guys, this is going to be the Disney book tag created by Kat at Katytastic on YouTube, in which I found through Rachel at Rachael Rexds. I will leave a link to their videos and blogs in the description. This question is Little Mermaid, a character who is out of their element. I'm reading The Eden Conspiracy by C.A. Gray right now, which is the second book in the Liberty Box series. Kate from that series was on my mind because of that. She, at the very beginning of the series, of the first book, is a huge reporter. It's a dystopian book, and she's this big reporter in the government, and then she starts realizing that the government is corrupt, and she ends up having to survive, and it's really dealt with, especially in the second book, how she wants to learn how to hunt because she wants to learn how to protect herself, but it's not what she's good at. She's never had to do that. She gets grossed out by the gory stuff, but she has to fight through it because it's required and necessary to survive. Cinderella, a character who goes through a major transformation. I'm going to say Kyle from the War of Princes series by A.R. Ivanovich. I won't go into specifics because it's a huge spoiler, but he changes a lot over the course of the series. If you read the first book in the series, you realize that Kyle isn't there a lot, so you'll probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you read the rest of the series, huge transformation. Snow White, a book with an eclectic cast of characters. It was hard to choose something other than Harry Potter for this because I just feel like Harry Potter has such a large cast of characters overall, 7 books, and definitely eclectic, I think. Sleeping Beauty, a book that put you to sleep. I went through my Goodreads to kind of find the most recent one because the ones that immediately come to mind are all books I had to read in school. But a recent book I read, and I've had a pretty good reading year this year, and that I've enjoyed, really enjoyed a good deal of the books I've read. So I read this book back in January, I think, and it was the first one when I was scrolling through where I really remembered not liking it. And it's Chasing Mona Lisa by Trisha Goyer, and I actually think there was a second author too. It's an action thriller book, which is interesting because it's not very action-y. I mean, it was, but not in an exciting way. It didn't seem to live up to its genre. I wasn't at all excited about it. I didn't care about what was happening in the book. Lion King, a character who has had something traumatic happen to them in childhood. I almost feel like you could say any main character for this because it's kind of a thing for main characters to go through trauma. But one that came to mind pretty quickly was Katniss from the Hunger Games, and pretty much all of the Hunger Games characters. Obviously, if we include teenage years in childhood, then the actual events of the Hunger Games would count. But I mean, even before that, Katniss has gone through a lot. I mean, she lives in a dystopian government that's terrible, but also her dad dying, and then her mom going into depression, and her having to be the one to support the entire family when she's extremely young, I think counts as traumatic. Beauty and the Beast, a beast of a book that you were intimidated by but found the story to be beautiful. I chose the complete works of Shakespeare for this. I had to read it for a class, and I was very worried about that class and just how, I told myself I shouldn't be, and I knew I shouldn't be, but I was. I knew before that I would enjoy it because I had read Shakespeare on my own. It's questionable how much I got of it when I was little. I'm glad that I read it that time because I think that was the first time where I finally really did feel confident that I got what was going on. Aladdin, a character who gets their wish granted for better or worse. I had a really difficult time with this, and my final answer definitely fits, but it's also kind of spoilery, so I'm just gonna say the character and what book they're from and nothing else. But I chose Maddie from Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. You can read the book if you want to know what I'm talking about. Mulan, a character who pretends to be someone or something they are not. I chose Islet from Lumiere by Jacqueline Garlick. Islet has seizures, and this book is kind of dystopian, kind of fantasy, kind of like a mix between the two, which I find fascinating. But she has seizures, and the world she lives in because of how it works and everything, she's worried that if people find out that she has seizures, she will be locked in an insane asylum. She conceals that part of herself, which can be really difficult because you can't exactly control when she has a seizure. Toy Story, a book with characters you wish could come to life. There are a number of answers for this. I could go back to Harry Potter, but I already chose Harry Potter. Of course, I also want to set the condition that I don't necessarily want every character in any particular series to come to life. Like, I especially don't want the villains. But my answer is going to be the Mortal Instruments, because some of my all-time favorite fictional characters, namely like Alec Lightwood and Magnus Bane, are in the Mortal Instruments. I don't want all of the demons and like Sebastian. I don't want him to come to life. I would love to have some of the other characters be real, and being able to like meet them would be really cool. Disney Descendants, your favorite villain or morally ambiguous character? I did have a really difficult time with this one. I tend not to like those kinds of characters. Like, I may like them okay, but they're not my favorites, so they didn't stick out and I couldn't remember them. I only chose Kieran from the Star-Crossed Lovers series. The first book is Reckless Magic by Rachel Higginson. This is another one where I won't go into too much detail and discuss how Kieran is viewed. He's definitely not the villain of the series. His dad is the villain of the series, but because of that, and because of him being one of like the main love interests, we have some moral ambiguity in like which side is he on. Is he on Eden, the main character side, or his dad's side, and whatnot going on throughout the entire series. And I feel personally from a reader's perspective that it's pretty obvious which side he's on when you're reading, but Eden, the main character, is very conflicted about it. So I think he counts as morally ambiguous. He definitely plays both sides to a certain extent. Even if you can figure out which side he's actually on as a reader, he's definitely kind of like involved in both sides. I'm gonna stop talking before I really do spoil things, but I'm gonna choose Kieran. So that's all of the questions. I'm not going to tag anyone specifically, but if you want to do this, then feel free and let me know. I would love to check out your answers, and I will see you guys later. Bye.